JG Francoeur, we are live. Are you there?
I love it. Live is the place to be.
A little bit of a delayed reaction there. I'm going, oh boy, did he bail on me? No, here we go. Hey, listen, we got a couple of really important topics, and we're going live to talk about a couple things. First off, an upcoming Expand event, and that's December 13, 14, 15. We'll get into the details of that. More importantly, you got a tour tomorrow of an ADU/coach home in Peterborough, and you're inviting anybody that wants to come out and see what that's all about to join you. Now, I've seen it already. I was there with you, and I toured it. It's awesome.
What'd you think? What'd you think, Patrick? Give me your honest opinion here. Here we go.
Well, my honest opinion is that the time has come. Like, it looked great. It fit the property extremely well. You guys crushed it with the property that you got because it backs onto a frickin' park. So literally, the tenant will be able to walk out, go through a little gate into a park in their backyard. Like, that's crazy. So you really crushed it on the location of that particular property. So that's bonus. But it's you laid it out well. It's a great property, and I think this is definitely the way to go. And I mean, you can share the numbers to the degree that you want to share them, but ultimately, this thing's cash flowing for you on, what do you got into it now? 800 into it, 850, something like that? I don't know. I've lost the math.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's exactly it, Patrick. And that's the trick with these things, is that you are taking a property that otherwise would not cash flow. And that's the thing that, you and I fires us up, is everyone is searching for cash flow. They want to find cash flow. They want to find cash flow. I can't find cash flow. And my message to everybody in the last couple of years is stop trying to find cash flow and start creating cash flow. The next question is, how do you do that? The answer is this way: duplex conversions, secondary suite conversions, and now the addition of coach homes is an incredible, epic way. And there's no better time than right now. So yeah, you're able to, yes, it takes some sophistication, Patrick. It's not necessarily for the faint of heart. And a lot of beginners, with the guidance of a professional company like Vischer, they can do it too. You don't need to be a super sophisticated investor. You do if you're going to do it on your own. But if you're going to hire Vischer to do this for you, you don't have to be super sophisticated, Patrick, because we've done it 1,000 times. We know exactly what to do. And we can do it even for beginners, even for property owners, which is where I'm going next.
Well, this is okay. So let's get flat on a couple things. First and foremost, folks, is that if you're watching this, understand is that our view of the world, my view of the world, is that given what's going on economically, this is where opportunities are starting to show up. And that when we look at the global macro, there's no question that at some level there's a devaluation or a decoupling of currency. We need to get our money to work into hard assets, into stores of value. And real estate is that store of value. And there's lots of opportunities out there. And as much as JG is, his development, land development business, Vischer, does what it does, but this is for anybody. So there's two parts to this conversation. One is, if you actually want to tour a coach home, you just got to get to Peterborough tomorrow. And I know it's short notice, but get there tomorrow and you can literally walk through, see how he set it up. And JG, you're going to do a whole tour of it, an explanation of it. And then secondly, if you just want the education around it, we are collaborating with Wealth Genius in the Expand event, December 13, 14, 15. You are going to be there on the weekend. You and I are both going to be doing some segments, but ultimately you're going to be delivering and explaining the whole concept of that development of a coach home, and that you're going to do at Expand.
Yeah, so I love the way you set that up, Patrick. It's very simple. If you want to see what a coach home ADU accessory dwelling unit looks like, then come tomorrow, come see it live in person. If you want to learn how it's done and you want to learn the strategy behind it and the nuts and bolts behind it, then come to the Expand event. I'll be teaching that concept, Patrick, not only in a breakout, but also on the main stage, I believe. And that's going to be phenomenal, because you said it actually in a video you and I did at the coach home this weekend, which is, this is the way forward for residential investors. If you're not going to go to big multifamily, and if you're not going to go to big commercial, it doesn't make sense for people to keep buying condos and single families, they're not going to cash flow, and they're never going to cash flow again. I think it's safe to say these properties will never cash flow again. You have to do what, let's call them small multifamily, which is a 3-unit with a single family, an accessory suite, and an accessory dwelling unit, an ADU.
Yep.
Perfect. That cash flows really well.
Yeah, and that's at the end of the day, when we look at what's going on, I can't stress enough that, whether we talked about the self-funding house, which is a bit of a hack, but this, like what you set up and what you toured me on the property that you set up it couldn't be a more ideal situation in a self-funding house scenario. So if you were a parent, or if you're just somebody that wants to own a home and you're saying, I can't afford it, it's too out of reach. I mean, you've got a very nice bungalow with a main floor. You've got a basement suite. Then you've got the coach home in the back. I mean, how much better or more ideal a situation can you have if you want to get into owning your first piece of real estate? This is a housing hack, as we say, that is really set up to help first-time home buyers to win. And so my encouragement, I cannot stress enough. Number one, you must be investing in hard assets, real estate being one of them. We just can't deny what's going on a global macro scale. Then learning how to do these coach homes, JG, you're going to be teaching it at the Expand event, and you can tour it tomorrow if that timing works for you in Peterborough.
Hey, make that timing work for you, because it's probably the last coach home tour I'm going to do for the winter. Now we have lots of coach home projects underway. But this is going to be the last time for a little while you're going to see another, like a full one, complete, finished. That, by the way, Patrick, was fully rented 3 weeks before completion for above market rents. It turned out to be amazing.
It's a fantastic unit. I think you guys crushed it. I like the layout. I like the design. Now, let's talk about this. So first off, there's the tour tomorrow. The link is in the description below. The Expand event is 13, 14, 15 in December. We are collaborating. The Real Estate Investment Network is, providing and being part of a collaboration with Alfonso Quadra, the godfather of real estate, if you will, with Wealth Genius. And
so let me get this straight. He's the godfather of real estate. You're the grandfather of real estate. Is that how that works, Patrick?
That's better than the doom and gloom or boomer. But anyways, we digress so quickly. So the point is that particular event, there's discount codes in it for the REIN community. That particular event, Alfonso has got, I want to say, 40 plus, maybe even 50 different speakers. You will be speaking from main stage. I will be speaking from main stage. But even more fun, JG, you and I will be doing a breakout session. We'll not only be doing our own breakout session, topic yet to be disclosed, or maybe even yet to be determined, but it'll be epic. And then we'll also be facilitating and hosting other breakout rooms. So it's a full-on event on the Saturday night. There's a gala, a black tie event, if you will, and it's going to be a blast. So the event itself is going to be so fun, but so informative. It's a great opportunity to surround yourself with like-minded people. I attended the June, I think it was June or July event in this 20.
We were both there. We were both there. It was awesome.
We were both there. Yeah, what the heck? I wasn't there by myself. It just felt like it because I was
remember Patrick, in our segment, it was actually so cool because in our segment they were literally lined up outside. We had to there was chairs outside. It was amazing.
Yeah. So we got some viewers on. I don't know if we can take questions here, but if you got some questions, if you got some comments, please put them in the chat. One of us would love to answer some questions because we've got a bit of an audience, and that's great. So here's the thing about it. We also just on the end of this week, I guess, so in a couple days, we dropped a Rein It In. So if you go to YouTube, and for the members, you can go into the back end and get the full meal deal in your portal. But you and I did a whole conversation about what's going on. Because we're live and because we kind of covered the topic of your tour tomorrow on your coach home and the Expand event, get registered, we should riff off a little bit about, what do we want to talk about? A little bit about politics and freelance. You're just not, it's not a recession. It's not that the economy's going down. You just got a bad vibe. You're not just dialed into the good vibes. So it's a vibe session, or whatever they're calling it, different than a recession. It's just bad vibes. It's not really a bad economy. Anyways, that just drives me a little bit crazy. And then, of course, Trump. Everything is about Trump crushing the stock.
Oh, yeah.
and it's going to be 25% tariffs across the board. No rhyme, no reason. And that is just not true. I think that, regardless of what we think of Trump, he's actually going to force our federal government. He's going to hold them accountable to do what we've been wanting him to do for 4 years. Get immigration under control. It's not to say that we don't want immigration. That would be actually not true. We do want immigration. We just want it managed. Right now, it's an absolute mess and chaotic. So that's my, I don't know. I'll let you go. I could go on forever.
Oh, there's no doubt. I know you can go on forever, Patrick. When it comes to politics, there's no shortage of words that you have. But I will say this, Patrick. Back in the day, one of my mentors rolled out a program, and he rolled this out in 2008. And you know what? I think it's as applicable, if not more applicable today than it was back then. And he rolled this out in 2008 because of the great financial crash that happened back then. And, you want to talk about bad vibes. I mean, you remember back then, those were bad vibes. People were hurting, and it was a really bad time. He rolled out a program called Create Your Own Economy. And I think that is more relevant today than ever before. And that is, people really have to take their own economy within their own grasp. And there's a lot that people can do, Patrick. You and I were talking about this, and I hope since we have some people listening and watching, you and I talked about this, where it is more difficult, from one perspective, more difficult than ever to do real estate, right? You would agree with that, Patrick.
Yes,
but on the other hand, it has never been so easy to do real estate at the very same time. I mean, our friends have that great vehicle where you can literally invest in real estate with as little as $1. So you don't need a lot of money to do real estate. There's a perception that you do. There's a variety of perception out there, Patrick, but you and I have been busting through these perceptions for a long time. So there is an incredible opportunity for people to create their own economy. But in order to do that, they have to gain control of what's going on between their ears. And they certainly cannot keep listening to traditional media and legacy media, because they are there to scare you. And they are doing just that with the Trump mania that's happening right now.
Well, you said something that we can't step over, and that is that, when we look at let's go back and just say this, is that in the research I did, and I just spoke to a very sophisticated group in Toronto of, we'll call them brokers, realtors, mortgage brokers, but business owners. And I mean, very sophisticated, very high level individuals. And, the one thing that we know, and this is what my research is showing, is that when you look at the top percentile of high income earners, so the top 1%, guess where their money is going? It's going into real estate. But to your point, JG, is you don't need to go get a mortgage. You don't need to go and find deals and hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can also just go to a REIT. That's just, we're not attached. We don't make money if you buy real estate, you as an investor. What we want to do is support you, encourage you to understand what's going on economically, and to put money into real estate, to invest in a way that makes sense. And we're looking at strategies, and we're saying development and ADUs / multifamily, even small multifamilies, remain the answers. And we just follow the money. And when we look at the big money, where's it going? It's just going into real estate. They're just using different strategies to do it. Well, and that's what's shifted right now. Development and small multifamilies are big.
And the reason this development is working the way I'm doing it with the Visitor Coach Home program is because of the deregulation that's happened in the industry. That has changed everything. If it wasn't for that, Patrick, this would not be possible. Let's be very clear. But the second thing is, keep in mind, everyone has this perception that they have to own a ton of real estate for them to be, for it to make a difference in their life. I just want to draw a picture that if somebody does this 3 times in their entire career, they take one property, a single family, they add an accessory suite, they add a coach home. If they do that 3 times, every one of these little bundles of joy, as I call them little cash machines. Every one of these little bundles of joy generates somewhere between $6,500 and $7,000 a month in rent. Yeah. Now, I want you to think about that, Patrick. Stretch that out 15, 20, 25 years. That means that those 3 little bundles of joy, just 3 of them, will generate above $20,000 of income for someone. What an incredible retirement income. What an incredible way to secure your family's financial future. And you know what? You don't need hundreds of properties. You don't need 50 condos. You just need 3 bundles of joy. That's it.
That's all you need. And that would more than suffice in terms of securing a financial future. So listen, folks, we've got the Expand event coming up with Wealth Genius and our good friend Alfonso Quadro, which we will be speaking at 13, 14, 15 in Toronto. Great discount on and deal on tickets. The REIN codes are in the description, as well as a link if you can get out to Peterborough tomorrow and tour JG's Coach Home. What time are you doing that, by the way, JG?
3 o'clock. 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. 3 o'clock. Get registered. The link's in the thing, or go to vistor.ca. There'll be a pop-up. Get registered there.
Okay, I think we've covered all the ground we need to cover. Anything you want to add before we sign off?
No, it's fantastic. We're going to see everybody at that Coach Home tour. If not there, we'll see them at the Expand event.
Beautiful. See you then. Thanks, JG.